Welcome back to MMA Oddsbreaker. Today we have the Polish powerhouse, of course, Chris Horodecki, getting ready to fight Lance Palmer, World Series of Fighting 21, June 5th in Edmonton, which is not home to you either, but of course Canada is more home to you than is Lance Palmer, that's for sure. I've commentated fights up in Edmonton for the old MFC with Mark Pavlich. It's a great town. It's a great city. You know, there's a lot of money up there that most Americans don't realize. A lot of oil up there, and it's a very knowledgeable crowd. Do you feel like going into Edmonton that it's a crowd that's really going to get the whole MMA game as opposed to some cities you go into, whether it's Canada or America, where they only want to see you punching somebody in the face and that's it?
You know, Edmonton's a fight town for sure. It's a blue-collar town. You know, like you said, it's a lot of money there. A lot of people that work hard, you know, and they love fights. And I think, you know, 2015 now people are more knowledgeable about the fight game, and they got a higher respect now more than ever for the fight game, not just boxing. And they, you know, we saw that last time. My last fight was in Edmonton, and they've done the last, I think, 4 or 5 World Series of Fighting Canadas in Edmonton. So obviously the crowd loves it. The people there, we're going to pack the house and we're going to put on a show.
You know, it's one of those kind of blue-collar worker towns where everybody works like 30, 45 days in a row, and then they have like 2 weeks off. And so when they work hard, they work hard. But when they're off, they party just as hard. And it's like, you know, it's not the traditional sense of, oh, you know, they're going out and breaking windows and causing riots, but they're out to have a good time. And they tend to bring that kind of atmosphere and that kind of feeling to the fighters. Do you feel that when you're fighting in Edmonton? Do you feel the crowd swell like almost not if they're not even cheering for you, but necessarily like wanting to have a better fight and giving you more energy to watch, to do more action and have more excitement?
Absolutely. Anytime you're fighting Canada, you know, you the crowd. You know, I mean, the people there, the fans, they fuel you. So, you know, especially being here, you know, being on Canadian soil, it's gonna come to advantage.
Let's talk about Lance Palmer. He's your opponent coming up here for this fight. You know, you obviously have tons more experience at 21-5. Lance is only 9-1. He's only got 10 fights. He's only had 1 loss. But this is a guy that's pretty salty. He's not an easy pushover. You know, normally back in the day, you know, 5-6 years ago, a guy of your caliber fighting a guy that's only had 10 fights, it's kind of a call-in fight. You know, you're like, I can call this one in. This guy's not going to be that tough. But nowadays, the game, like you said, where Edmonton is very knowledgeable about how the fight game is, all fighters are super well-rounded. It's tough to kind of pick. You know, obviously Lance is a better wrestler than anything else. But how do you view this fight breaking down, and how do you see yourself winning this thing?
Yeah, it's the thing. The MMA game, records are deceiving. I mean, people, there's, you know, Chris Weidman, he won the UFC belt, you know what I mean, with 9, I believe it was 9 fights. Yeah. You know what I mean? So you're getting, you know, champions, you know, quite early in the career. Just the natural progression of an MMA fighter isn't what a boxing fighter would be, where you're getting into the 30 fights when they start challenging for that world title. But, you know, Lance is definitely a tough opponent. Like you said, his wrestling is a strong point. You know, he's a gamer. I think, you know, my experience is going to play into my advantage. My experience being able, you know, take this fight into the deep waters, having fought. You know, I've fought all over the world. I've competed in this game for a long time, and I think my experience and my veteran skills are going to show.
You know, he obviously has no knockouts. He's got, if I remember correctly, he has 5 submissions and 4 decisions in his 9 victories, and he lost a split decision. That's how he lost. You have almost as many KOs on your record as he has fights. You're at 7 KOs with 4 submissions and 10 decisions. So everybody knows that Chris Horodecki can go into deep waters. He can go into the late rounds. He's been there tons of times. He doesn't have a problem being there. Lance also doesn't have a problem going there off of his short record. Have you had to put some stuff into your training camp to make sure that when it gets into the later rounds that you're definitely pushing the pace and that you're going to be able to make him break and push his cardio to a point where he's going to be able to function as easily?
Oh, yeah, I'm working. I'm down here at TriStar Gym, Montreal. You know, we're grinding hard, man. You know, and I got a conditioning coach, John Chamber. You know, he's putting me through the ringer. And, you know, every round's tough here. You know what I mean? Everybody here is kind of like a melting pot of Canada. Yeah. You know, all here in Montreal, everybody's grinding, everybody's working. There's UFC vets, Bellator vets, you know, World Series of Fighting. Every big company, you know, there's somebody on the mat from there. So it plays into my advantage. You know, I mean, he comes from a great team too. You know, alpha male. It's no joke. You know what I mean? I'm expecting, the best, and I'm bringing my best, so it's going to be fireworks.
Do you think you can finish this fight early and you get a knockout here, before the end of the fight? Or do you think this is going to be one of those fights that you always anticipate and you always train for the long, hard decision? But do you really think that this is one of those fights that's going to go all the way to the decision?
You know what I mean? I can see it going either way. You know what I mean? But I'm ready for everything. If the knockout's there, I'm going to take it. But I'm ready to go to those deep waters in battle.
You said earlier that you're up there at TriStar, and that it's the melting pot of Canada right now for a lot of the mixed martial arts fighters. But it's also the melting pot for the East Coast of Americans, too. A lot of guys are moving up to Toronto for the training camps and fighting up there because TriStar, obviously, is such a great place to train. With that multitude of training partners, do you have to walk in some days and go, okay, I have Lance Palmer, he's a wrestler. I can only train with you 4 guys. You other 5 guys I normally train with, I can't train with you for this camp?
No, exactly. That's quite the cool thing when you're out here. Whatever style opponent you have, there's always going to be somebody to give you a similar look. Maybe not exactly. You'll never have someone to give you the exact same look. But I've got a bunch of guys here that give me that look, that give me that southpaw, the wrestler look, that footwork that he's got. You know what I mean? It's very fortunate. I'm very blessed actually to be with a camp like this where I can walk in any day on the mat and I know rounds 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I got everything set.
Who's your main training partner for this one to help you get ready for Lance?
I got a few guys that people don't know about, but like right here, there was guys like Zach Markovsky was training. I got Tom Breeze, Joe Duffy. So there's a lot of guys coming up right now that people don't even know about that are making their way up the Canadian ranks.
Yeah.
So I got a solid group.
And that is the tough thing about guys at TriStar that half the training partners that they're working out with that no one's ever heard of him. They're like, well, how is that guy any good if no one's ever heard of him? And then all of a sudden, a year later, he's a champ of one of the minor leagues in Canada. Then all of a sudden, he's been brought into the big leagues, and he's a title contender. A year after that. So TriStar is one of those gyms and academies that every time you walk in there, somebody's going to be pushing your buttons. Somebody's going to be giving you a hard go, even if you've never heard of him. Being a Canadian and right there in that spot, there's some guys you walk in sometimes that you've never heard of, that obviously he's your training partner for the day, and you're like, wow, that guy gave me everything I could take for that round.
That's it, man. Every round you got to be on your toes. Every round you got to be on your A game. So it's good.
Well, Chris, thanks for coming on with MMA Oddsbreaker. Appreciate every time that you have a fight. We love having you on. I appreciate you coming in here again. Good luck, man, and we'll talk to you soon.
I appreciate it. Thanks a lot, Trigg, for having me.